I promise. Jimmy Bird didn't like those 4 words the more he considered them. Maybe he had gotten demoted to mess, and he patted the pistol wedged in the back of his work pants for reassurance. Patted the gun 3 times, and he realized it was just the bop-bebop rhythm of his little girl patting the top of her teddy bear's head. He'd miss her most of all once he left the country. He'd send her some money later, anonymous-like, for her schooling. She might get that math with the letters and numbers mixed together way better than he had. By his reckoning, he would go from ditch digger to multimillionaire in about 12 hours. Jimmy Bird slung the metal detector back over his shoulder and moved through the heavy growth of twisted oaks. They drove home early because the bed spring squeaked. Patch Gilbert was a romantic, but a bed and breakfast full of artsy-fartsy bric-a-brac was not his idea of a love nest. But his lady friend, Thuy Linh Tran, had wanted to go to Port Aransas, even though it wasn't terribly far from Port Leo and could hardly count as a real getaway. Thuy thought Port Aransas romantic because it was actually on an island. You rode a little ferry to get there, and you could watch the porpoises darting in the ferry's wake. They'd had a nice dinner and red vino at an Italian place. Patch had taken his pill to rev his engine. They'd snuggled into bed, and he didn't even have Thuy's modest gown off before they discovered the bed springs on the genuine antique bed screamed like banshees every time they moved. "We're not making love in this bed, Patch," Thuy said. "But I took a pill." At 70, he felt no erection should be wasted. "No. It's Monday night. This place is mostly empty. Ain't nobody gonna hear us, Angel." He started nibbling on her ear. "No." She was 69 and more stubborn than he was. So they had quarreled. The trip was her idea, but it was for his birthday, and he wasn't happy with this squeaking turn of events. And in a fit, they got dressed and checked out and just drove back to Port Leo, to Patch's old house on Blackjack Point. The drive was mostly awkward silences. It was midnight, and they were both in sour moods, and Patch suddenly worried that Thuy needed a little courting. She wanted to go straight home when they got back to his house, but he convinced her to come in and make up and drink a little wine. She wasn't sleepy. Arguing had riled her up, made her more talkative, so he was hopeful she'd spend the night. "How long's it been, baby, since you walked on a beach late at night?" Patch Gilbert poured Thuy another glass of Pinot Noir. "Now that's romance. A beach, real late at night." Thuy smiled. "I ran across a beach at midnight with 3 children in tow, hoping not to get shot and to find a spot on the boat. When I left Vietnam, Patch, it wasn't romantic." She leaned over and kissed him, a chaste little peck against his wine-wet mouth. "I should go. I haven't been up this late in years." He felt their time slipping away. Her kiss gave him that shivery energy of being 25, at least inside. "Come down to the beach with me." "I thought you retired from sales." "Well, honey, if I have to sell you on the idea." "You didn't sneak another one of those pills, did you?" "Don't need 'em." "Shameless." "We don't have time for shame. Listen, we'll just get the sand in between our toes." His voice went husky, and he took the wineglass from her hands. "It feels good, the wet sand against your skin." "Patch." "Baby." He kissed her gently, almost shyly. He felt the neediness in his own kiss, the hopeful wondering, not felt since high school, before the Marines, before selling drilling equipment for so many years, before cancer.